Hello, friends. Brandon here. Trying out this whole vlogging thing. We'll see how it goes. But I just had a little interaction with somebody that really touched me, and I kind of wanted to share it. Um, Before I do that, I guess kind of leading up to it, what I want to say is that you know, I feel like this isn't profound, but every person on earth, everybody you've ever met, there's some aspect of their life that isn't perfect. Um, and I feel like, you know, over the last 5 years or so, I'd say, I've especially come to realize that, and I've been through things that I never would have thought I would have gone through. I always felt so solid and like I had everything figured out, and then life kind of had its way, and I found myself in a set of circumstances that were very real and that I couldn't get out of, and I had to figure out. I had to dig deep, and I had to figure out what to do to get from where I was to where I wanted to be, and I'm still kind of figuring all that out. But anyway, I'm doing great, and the thing that I always try and remind myself of to kind of quell the anxiety that all of us have, which is that nothing's perfect, and you know there's a sense of dread about something always if you allow it to be there. But the one thing that I always remind myself of is the amount of things that I have to be grateful for. Um, and you know, even if nothing else, I can be grateful that I don't live in a war-torn region. You know, I don't have to fear that I'm going to be hit by a stray bullet walking down the street. I don't have to fear for the lives, knock on wood, of the people that I love. Even more specifically than that, I'm grateful that I have a roommate who helps pay the rent. I'm grateful for my friends that put me up when I had nowhere else to go. I'm grateful for my landlord who barely knew me but liked me and was just kind of like, "Hey, you need an apartment? You're approved," and took a chance on me when I didn't have the best credit, or rental history at that point. I mean, everything we have so much to be grateful for, no matter how bad things are. And I think that I was really reminded of this today. So I was feeling a little hungry. So I placed an online order for takeout from Domino's Pizza down the street, and wasn't really thinking much of anything other than I can't wait to shove some pizza and Cinesticks in my face. Um, and so I went to pick up the pizza on Broadway, and as is normal on Broadway, on every corner there's homeless people, and anybody that knows me knows that I have, for whatever reason, just kind of I guess you could call it a soft spot for homeless people. What I call it is empathy for fellow human beings. But anyway, sometimes I do give money. I've had so many people say, "Oh, you're okay with them spending it on drugs?" Yep, I don't care. The gesture that I am giving when I give them a small amount of money, which by the way they'll never overdose on, is I want you to be happy. It's got to be really hard to be in the position that you're in, and I want you to be happy for a minute. So here, take this, and I don't have to continue to have control over it. When I give it to you, it's yours. Having said that, obviously I can't give every time, otherwise I'd be on the street. So I try and just have interactions with certain homeless people that I really enjoy, and then as I get to know them a little bit, then I bring them things. I bring them little gifts, and sometimes it's cash, and sometimes it's gift cards, and sometimes it's whatever. And I don't do this, by the way, to elicit any kind of kind words out of people. I'm not doing it for the attention or for people thinking that I'm this great person. I selfishly do it because I just love the interactions I have with them. I think anybody who obviously is living on the street has been through some stuff and usually has a pretty interesting story to tell. And so I selfishly really love to engage with them. And so in exchange, I give them a little something. Um, to me, I think anybody who doesn't do that is kind of missing out a little bit. But I can understand, people don't want to put themselves in a potentially dangerous situation, and I don't encourage you to do that. But anyway, I'm walking out with my Domino's pizza. kind of looking down, not paying attention to the world around me really at all. And I hear a homeless guy from behind me say, "Hey, I'll give you $2 for a slice of your pizza." And I kept walking for a second because you're used to people yelling like, "Hey, I'll give you $1 for a cigarette," or "I'll, hey, can I have this? Can I have that?" But I've never been carrying food, and had a homeless person say, "I'll give you whatever amount of money I have on me just to have some of that." So I stopped and I turned and I said, "Wait, really?" And I walked over to the guy and of course said, uh, "Look, I'm not going to take any money. Of course, just here, have a slice of pizza." And he was super nice, and he said, "Oh, thank you. I'm so hungry. Like, please take this money." I said, "No." He, I broke off a couple pieces for him, and he took them, which means that I now still have 6 full slices of pizza left out of 8, and some sweet Cinna sticks. And this gentleman that was on the street, hopefully now, isn't hungry. Like, he's satisfied now. And as I was walking away, there was a guy walking into the Chipotle that was right there, and he turned and he was like, "Hey, you're a good man." And I smiled, and we had a little exchange, and it was really cool. And I just, the reason that I share this story is, again, not for any kind of accolades, not because I want attention for being a nice person or whatever. I think most people would do the right thing if given the opportunity. But I think sometimes people don't understand certain things. They don't understand, I've experienced this with the gay thing. Sometimes people just, they don't fully understand it. And so maybe sometimes they're a little afraid of it because they don't understand it. That doesn't mean that they mean you harm or that they hate you or anything. They just don't fully understand, and you have to leave room for that. People are human. But, in the case of homeless people, I think, I think we're conditioned a lot to think that they are the leeches of society, that they are the problem. When to me, it seems like the people running this world, the rich corporate whatever, they're the ones who seem to be the problem, but they're informing us, to hate poor people and to hate less fortunate because that's where our tax dollars go and whatnot. And I find that to be false. I find that to be completely false. I think blaming, social and economic problems on the lowest man on the totem pole, these people on the street couldn't possibly have less. They couldn't have less belongings. They couldn't have less real estate. They couldn't have less authority. These are the underdogs of society, and we're going to blame them? No, it's the people running the show, I promise you. So, in the future, if I could impart anything onto any of one of my friends, it would just be that, these are human beings that you're dismissing on the side of the road, if you are dismissing them, or seeing them as leeches. And yes, we do have social programs in place for them. They're not perfect. And, sometimes, somebody might just look at you and say, "Oh my God, you don't know how much this slice of pizza would change my day." I had another young homeless woman months ago just beg me for a Coke. I was carrying a 6-pack of Coke, and just giving her one Coke made her day. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yes, there are homeless people that have addictions, that have problems. This man is probably no stranger to that. We don't understand addiction. We can judge it. We can project our own shit onto it. But at the end of the day, we don't know what causes it. We know it's there are certain mechanisms in the brain that are responsible for it, and that it's an illness not unlike any other illness. But for whatever reason, I guess because we hold ourselves back from really self-destructing, we can then judge others. I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably losing everyone at this point because I'm going a little too far off. But I don't know. I was really touched by that interaction, and I hope that nice gentleman I hope those couple slices of pizza tasted awesome, and that he's satisfied now. And anytime he wants a slice of pizza, I would be more than happy to give him one. And I just I think that yeah, always err on the side of generosity and kindness, and you'll never be in the wrong. So I guess that's all I have. I feel like I was trying to make a huge, really good point with it, and I kind of got carried away and lost in a sea of words. But I hope that the message comes through now before my pizza gets too much colder. I'm going to eat some. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing me out. And I love you to the moon and back. And that's it.